Okay, welcome back to the channel. We're gonna review week 3 of my program. There's a couple new things here that I got videos on, like speed work, jump work, and other things than my weightlifting. So we're gonna go over that, and then we're gonna go over the week 3 of my program. It was a really good week, getting back to as strong as I was before competition, or even to my best numbers. So it was good to see that. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so Monday we started out with some speed. We did a couple of 40-yard dashes. We did a couple of 10-yard dashes. Again, I think it is important, especially if I want to get faster, and if any of my athletes want to get faster, it is important to get exposed to top end speed. And not only if you want to get faster, right? I think my main sport is still weightlifting, so that is my main priority. But I really think that when I add sprints into the program and jumps, it makes me feel more explosive. If you think about, right, the force that it takes for you to get stronger, there's no other exercise like sprinting that produces as much force through your lower body as top end sprinting, or even just accelerating or jumping as hard as you can. So I think even for weightlifting, it is a good thing to add onto your program if you have time and it doesn't deter you from doing any other higher priority. Tuesday we did some snatches, again working up on some no foot snatches. You've been seeing this, I've been talking about why they are helpful, but we're working up on a heavy double. The bar there came a little far on contact. That is my main weakness on the snatch. I think after contact I am a little bit like it's just a millisecond where I disconnect from the bar, and then after contact, instead of keeping the bar close, it comes away from my body. The cue that I really like, and I learned it from Dylan Cooper in YouTube. I think he's Dozer Weightlifting, and in Instagram the same thing, is I like the cue of keeping your knuckles down. I think it does a really good job on providing feedback and actually forcing you into keeping the bar closer through contact. I think if the bar comes away from you, it's really hard to keep your knuckles down. So if you actively try to keep your knuckles down, that bar will consistently stay close to your body when you snatch. And I really think that I do it, and sometimes I struggle with it, thinking about it through extension, which is the most important part for me, because after extension, after that contact, the bar comes away from me. You can see a couple on those reps of the no foot snatches. So a really good cue that I like with my athletes, keeping your knuckles down, especially on the snatch, but it also works for the clean. We did some snatch pulls, we did some pause front squats, we worked up to a heavy 4. We really worked down from high volume. We did sets of 8 on the pause front squat, and we're working down to a heavy double next week. I'm hoping to hit 235 or more. And I think for the sake of that, this week, I think I'm gonna try 215 for 4 and see how it feels. I've been kind of like consistently adding 20 pounds to the bar every week. And not because, right, the idea of improving, some people might think that the idea of improving, if you kind of like underestimate yourself a little bit the first week, and then you quote unquote improve from week to week, as in, I'm gonna leave 5 reps in the tank the first week and I'm gonna add 5 pounds. Are you actually improving? I don't think so, right? Because if your limit is here and you're trying to kind of like stay here so you can progress, quote unquote progress 5 pounds every time, maybe you hit your limit 1 month from now, but you didn't get better over the last 1 month or 2 months because you've been consistently being under your limits. And I felt that it wasn't kind of like coincidence. It was kind of like it worked out perfectly. But 225 for 8, or sorry, 275 for 8, the first week felt max effort. And then 195 for 6 felt max effort. And then 215 for 4 this week felt max effort. So maybe I could have done maybe one or two reps, but again, 1 or 2 reps in the tank, I think it's fine. One, according to literature that we have, you don't need to push it to failure, especially on strength movements. For strength, you don't need to be to that 0 reps in reserve. You can be anywhere between 3 to 1 reps in reserve or 0 reps in reserve. But yeah, felt really good. I feel like I'm getting stronger, and again, I'm feeling like next week I'm gonna hit some good numbers, either PRs or my current PRs. And if I hit my current PRs, it will be a good milestone to have after that first block of training, because I don't know if you guys remember, that first week felt really, really bad. I felt really, really shitty, and it's feeling really, really good that I'm getting to this level again. We finished with some bench press, and then Wednesdays we went on to a jerk day. We're doing power jerks, doubles, and I think I worked up to 205. Let's just see. For the jerk, what I focus on the most is trying to keep that bar, trying to keep my arms loose, and trying to keep that bar on the shoulders through extension. I think people start pushing too early, and there's a couple of things when you start pushing too early. One, you don't finish extension, and if you don't finish extension, that bar may potentially travel forward because of that momentum, right? If you don't finish all the way up, that bar won't travel as vertically as you can travel, and then you're gonna have to go find it forwards. And two, right, like you're pushing onto the ground with your legs to send that bar up, but then if you push with your arms to the bar, you're pushing yourself down. So the net force there will be 0. Like what you're doing with your legs won't matter because you're pushing onto the bar and you're canceling the forces. So you're being very inefficient. So just trying to keep, I like saying trying to feel that bar heavy in the shoulders without being tense, and then finishing extension so that the bar travels vertically, the bar travels as far up as it could, and then punching yourself under. Again, what I view your body as, your upper body punches yourself under the bar, is not punching the bar up. We moved into a new variation that I wanted to try. It's the pin single leg squat. You saw me try 135 and it felt really, really hard. And I haven't had a glute stimulus as high and as sore the next day as with this movement. It was something different for sure. Maybe it's not the best for building muscle, because we know that we need that length and that tension on the stretch. Maybe it's not the best for strength, because obviously you need, if you use that stretch training cycle and you use the whole and you don't rest the bar at any point, you might be able to do more weight on this. But I really felt like it could be a good variation for, some sprinters for block starts, or anything that involves changing direction all of a sudden, because it just forces you to go from 0 to 100 single-legged. And I think it was a really good movement. I'm gonna start implementing it with some of my athletes and see how it works. I did implement it with Dylan. He was in my rack right there. And I'm gonna try more athletes, see if they like it, see if they feel any difference when, for some sprinters, for some jumpers, it could be good. So I don't know. We're going into some cleans. Again, no foot cleans. My goal is to hit 225 with those no foot cleans by the end of the cycle, so next week. I think in this one I do 215 for 2. I think I might have failed the first rep at 215. We will see right now, but it was actually feeling very good. It was feeling really good. The bar was feeling really close. The bar was feeling really attached, really close to my body. Really trying to focus again on those knuckles facing down through extension. I find it easier to focus on that through the clean. or with the clean. So yeah, they felt really good. Here's a double at 195. If you saw on that rep, right, the second rep I started with my arms a little more bent. That is not a good thing to do. I know some athletes like the armband, and for some athletes it might work. For me, it doesn't work. I feel like all my tension is on the arms, and again, if the arms are not relaxed, they're not able to take the force that you're putting onto the ground with your lower body. So you're essentially canceling out the force again and not letting that force or that force coming from the ground into the bar going straight up. To me, that is like when I feel that it's heavy, it's just I don't know why I resort to that, but again, you want to think about, right? So we worked up to, that was I think 200 to 5 210. That was 210. We didn't actually end up working to 215. But if you think about it, right, you want your arms to be fully straight for a couple of reasons, right? When your arms are relaxed and heavy weight is hanging off your arms should be straight, and that is a tell of if you're relaxed or not. But second of all, you don't wanna. If you bend your arms, you're gonna have to squat a little lower to pull that bar, to grab the bar. So you're essentially creating a little more range of motion through a position that is not very efficient. So you're essentially doing a deficit clean because you're bending your arms. You're having to get lower with your legs, and that is not very efficient. So those are the two things I think about when I keep my arms. And again, trying to think about keeping your arms straight and your knuckles down. It will be a really good position to be in when you start in a clean. The goal was to do sets of 4 on the bench or on the deadlift, but one of my athletes was deadlifting too, and I wanted to kind of like one-up him. So my athlete did 235 for 6, so I went on to do 235 for 7, just to create a little friendly competition there, and just showing my athletes that I still got it. I think it's important. I think it's important to compete with them. It just creates good buy-in. It creates a sense of confidence because the athletes kind of like see that you're also doing or you're able to do what you're asking them to do. So the tennis team had a speed and agility session, and we wanted to finish with some jumps. And I think it is important that sometimes we add some fun variations of jumping. If everything is very controlled always, it doesn't necessarily reflect how we do things on the field. So I decided to do a high jump like you saw there. It is a type of variation where it's forcing you not only to run, stop, change directions from being so going horizontally towards to vertically to jump the bar. It's also forcing you to, kind of control your body around it. We don't know a lot of techniques, so we just find a way to get over the bar. It was fun. It created some good competition. We got some very, very good jumps out of it. And then I think it's a good way to add some jumps. On Saturday, we did some of accessory work that I couldn't get to throughout the week. I am not very strict when it comes to doing my accessory work in terms of isolation work. I normally prioritize 1, sprints, jumps, 2, Olympic lift variations. Obviously, that is my sport. And then 3, the biggest strength variations like the squats, the front squat, back squat, deadlift, pulls, bench press. And then the quote-unquote accessory work that is more compound, right? A dip, a chin-up, a Jefferson curl, a RDL, some of those things that are more bang for your butt, and they give me more for a little less time in the gym. But I do program, in my programs, I do program some isolation work, and I do program some mobility work. I never get to film that mobility work. I will try for next video, but I do have a warm-ups, I do have isolation work, and I do have cool-downs and mobilities in my program. So if you decide to join, you will have those available. I don't tend to film it or show it in here because I don't want the videos to be super long. But if you guys want to see how I approach my mobility, how I approach my accessory work, how I approach my warm-ups, please let me know in the comments, or let me know through my Instagram, through my DM, or through any commenting through any post that I post, and let me know, and then I will show it. But I don't tend to show it, but I do have warm-ups, isolation work / accessory work, and I have cool down / mobility to finish the session. We couldn't get to Big Friday or Big Sunday for me, but we did manage to get a session where I do both snatch and cleans and squats. And in this case, we did the competition prep day as the main Olympic weightlifting movements, and then we did the squat. Again, muscle snatches, they're a tough movement for me for the same purpose as I said last time. After the contact, my bar gets a little away, and it's very hard to do a muscle snatch from a position where the bar is away from your body. So that's why I dial in on the muscle snatch, and that's why maybe for this technical block and maybe for the following blocks far away from competition, if I had to choose between a comp prep day and a big day, I would choose a comp prep or a competition prep day, because those are variations, technical variations that allow me to work on the weaknesses that are potentially going to make me better at the bigger lifts or at the competition lifts. We finished at 135 muscle snatch, and I think we finished at 205. I can't tell if this is 205 for the pause clean above the knee plus pause jerk. Great variation to work on keeping that bar close around the knee and being really balanced across the jerk. So that was 205, and then we go into back squats, sets of 4 paused. Again, I think for this particular block, we squat twice a week and then we deadlift once. For the next block, I am planning on upping the volume on the squats a little bit. So we are gonna do 3 times a day squatting, or 3 times a week, squatting. And then we're gonna pull twice a week. So essentially it's gonna be like a snatch day with squat, a jerk day with a pull, a clean day with a squat, a competition prep day with a pull, and then a competition day with a squat. Now, if your goal is if you want to join me for that kind of quote unquote squat cycle, and you would like to join the program, then if your goal is to really increase your squat, what I would do is separate the snatches and the cleans on one day, and then put the clean or the squat on another day. Kind of like making, instead of 5 days, 6 days. But the 6th day can only just be a squat. I think that could work really well, especially if you're trying to increase your squat. But I have found that doing short cycles where you squat 2 to 3 times a week instead of just one really heavy, obviously changing the parameters, like maybe one day is going to be for volume, one day is going to be paused, or one day is going to be a different variation where you can't do as much weight. And then the 3rd day, what normally happens is more of a intensity, more of a either higher percentages so that you have landmarks to see, like, oh, I hit 90%, it felt well. Maybe the next week you hit 92%. Or just maybe making up to feel, maybe instead of week or day 1 we'd hit a heavy 10, in week or day 3 with that intense day we hit a heavy 3 or something like that. I'm not sure how I want to program it yet. Again, I am not a big fan of percentages when it comes to for athletes, but I am a big fan of percentages sometimes for weightlifters, because that gives you a landmark of where I want you to be as a coach at that specific week. We finished though with 265. Felt awesome. My goal is 285 next week. Hopefully I hit it and you guys get to see it on the video. Now, this video was a little shorter than usual, but I've been asked if I could talk about nutrition for a little bit, and here's my take on nutrition, right? I think starting off with the pyramid, we've talked about a little bit in my first or second video, I don't remember, but I'm going to talk about it in more detail. I think the first thing that we need to look, especially for athletes in college, is equating their calories to how much they are exercising, right? And I think that is important because we have a lot of literature suggesting that college athletes are consistently underfueling themselves, and that is not good, especially if you're trying to get faster, stronger, better at your sport. You need to have your full capacity in order to do that, right? For example, I want to bringing it back to lifting. In order to get stronger, you need to hit at least minimum 80% of your 1 rep max or more. If you want to get faster, you need to hit 90% of your max velocity or more. And those are high thresholds. So if you're not ready because you're under fuel to hit that, you're not going to get faster or stronger. So the first thing that I look for my athletes is how much they're eating, and potentially to the point where maybe we need to sacrifice a little bit of quality to get those extra calories in, or maybe add a little sweet treat that they would like, because it is important for them to feel how it feels to be fueled appropriately in terms of calories when it comes to doing their sport and recovering. And I think with the athletes that I worked, it does make a difference, because it makes them feel like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to feel. Like I eat, I sleep, I wake up, I'm not exhausted all day, I can go to class, I can go to practice, I can eat, I can hang out with my friends, and I'm not like a zombie all day. So it helps to establish that baseline of, okay, this is what in the short term, in kind of like in an acute sense, this is how you should feel throughout the day. And then from there, working up on the quality foods, right? Especially for those athletes that maybe off season, they like to change their body weight a little bit, maybe lose some body fat, maybe gain a little more muscle. Now we need to start adding a little bit of more the quality talk. When we talk about quality, especially when you're trying to lose weight, I don't see it as like it's either healthy or unhealthy, and you're gonna get unhealthy. That is bad. I'm seeing it as it is easier to maintain a diet to lose weight when the food is quote unquote healthy, because you can eat more volume, you feel more satisfied, you feel more more full, and you're not craving as many other things. For example, right? Let's say I'm trying to lose weight and I order McDonald's. Maybe that whole meal, that one meal, is all my calories that I can eat throughout the day. Now I'm gonna be starving all day. Instead of that, maybe I eat, a couple of bowls with grilled chicken and rice, maybe a little bit of sauce, maybe something that you like, but now you're gonna have 4 or 5 of those bowls for one McDonald's meal. So that's how I see quality. As quality is kind of like a resource for me to maintain a kind of like a good nutrition for a certain goal, especially when it comes to losing weight. That's where quality kicks in a little more. And also, we obviously know from studies that eating more fiber, eating more of those veggies and fruits is correlated to living a longer and healthier life, being that by the healthy user bias, being that by any other external factors. Probably if you eat more veggies and fruits throughout the day, it is more likely that you exercise as well. It's more likely that you feel not bloated at any point and maybe skip a workout, or maybe not want to work out because of that. And then it's also more likely that you are not eating as many calories for you to get into those body fat levels that are unhealthy for you. So quantity first, and then when you have that established, when you have that sensation established, when we are in a situation where we can change your daily eating habits right away, eating a little more of those calories through choosing quote unquote more unhealthy. Obviously, I'm not telling everyone to be unhealthy, but maybe for an athlete that eats twice a day and they're really stuck in their ways and it's season, so they can't change their habits or they don't feel like changing their habits, maybe adding an extra thing or adding an extra ingredient or changing the food that they're eating to maybe not being just a salad or just grilled chicken might help them get those calories that they need to recover. So quantity, that's the first thing I look. Quality, and then after quality is established, right, then they feel like they're eating quality foods for the amount that they need to sustain their activity. Now we look into different more little things, right? And I think the third biggest thing that we need to look at is hydration. Just having a water bottle with you all day that is full. For example, I bring mine. I like very cold water, so I put ice, and then I just keep drinking ice water. It keeps me really hydrated, and when I forget the water bottle at home, or I lose it, or I forget it somewhere, I really feel the difference. So just keeping it hydrated. A fast way to do that too is also just getting some electrolytes in. If you get some electrolytes in after a day where you haven't had your water bottle, or after a day that you're doing a lot of exercise, it's a really good way to keep you hydrated. And I think if you hydrate yourself properly, you will also have that feeling that you are not as hungry. Sometimes our mind confuses hydration or dehydration for hunger. So sometimes keeping yourself hydrated, especially if you're in a fat loss journey, may facilitate that, like not eliminating completely, but decreasing the urge of being hungry all the time. And then from there, we look at other little things, right? We look at supplements, and then what supplements work, what supplements don't work. I don't know. I think the main ones that we know work for sure are creatine monohydrate. That works for sure. Whey protein helps if you can get a lot of protein throughout the day, right? You're a college student, you're an athlete at that college. Maybe you don't have as much time to eat. A protein shake might help with that. And then something that I found that really helps a lot is multivitamin. I don't think and multivitamin and maybe fish oil, omega-3s. Those help. Those make me feel really good. I haven't found that theoretically you also, especially if you live somewhere like me in New York and you don't get as much sun throughout the day in winter, maybe vitamin D helps as well. I haven't found for myself a lot of difference with or without vitamin D, but keeping a multivitamin and fish oil consistently throughout my years has helped. So creatine, multivitamin, fish oil, whey protein helps. Those are kind of like the main supplements I would focus on. And then what else do we have? I think those are the main pillars of what I look about nutrition. Like, again, just to summarize, we got quantity and just making sure that calories are equated. You should be eating as much energy as you are expending, especially if you're trying to maximize performance. Then quality, maybe looking at quality when, one, you're trying to change your body composition, but two, also just increasing the quality of your food has been correlated to living a longer and healthier life. So if you are able to take that next step and changing the quality of your food, that helps as well. And then we got hydration, and then we got the little things like supplements or all those stuff. But yeah, again, please let me know in the comments what you want to hear from. I also ask on my Instagram. You can also comment on my Instagram. But let's make sure that you support me by subscribing to the channel. Make sure you like this video, comment on it if you can. And yeah, thank you for watching.